Hello. You are listening to the Carroll Connection with your host, Jared Carroll.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Carroll Connection. I'm your host, Jared Carroll, here to bring you guys another great episode. Did want to take a chance to shout out my last episode 203, the 2024 Year in Review episode. That was with Amanda Russo. It was her second time on the podcast. She does a lot of breath work and things of that nature. But on that podcast, like I said, we recapped all of 2024 and things that we've accomplished, as well as touching upon everything that Amanda has gone through since her last appearance on the podcast. It was a really great one. It was nice to kind of wrap up 2024 with her and to go into that. If you want to check that episode out, go to thecarrollconnection.simplecast.com. Also available Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the major listening platforms. If you'd like to watch your podcast, go on YouTube or search The Carroll Connection or at Jared M. Carroll. It should pop up for you. And then if you want to be a guest or return as a guest, hit me up on Instagram at Jared M. Carroll at The Carroll Connection, and we'll set that up, as well as checking out the 5 Pillars to Creating a Meaningful Life, only available on Amazon. I have the links in all my bios. Check it out, and if you buy it, read it, review it on Amazon. It goes a long way with the algorithm and stuff like that, and I'd really appreciate that. So that brings me to today's episode 204 with Mason Terra.
What's going on?
Welcome to the podcast, my man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to interview you. I kind of saw you on Low Gravity's podcast. Shout out to Low Gravity.
Shouts out.
Zach and Junior running that stuff over there, and I saw you, and then I checked out some of your art on your page, and I was like, yeah, I reached out and was like, let's do a podcast, and you were down, and I appreciate that.
Of course, I'm always down.
So just to let the audience kind of know who you are and what you're doing currently.
Well, my name is Mason Terra, and currently I'm a practicing artist from the New Bedford area, South Coast, Massachusetts area. I teach and train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as well as work at the New Bedford Whaling Museum. So if you're ever there, you can catch me there. But yeah, that's kind of my main 3 things right now.
Hell yeah, and I'm excited to dive into each one of those actually. 'Cause I'm curious a lot of, especially about the jiu-jitsu stuff. Like we'll get into that. But I like to start my podcast, like I mentioned to you off air, is with family dynamic. And for anyone that's listening to the podcast for the first time, I always kind of give like a little spiel on like why I do family dynamic. I always kind of use this corny cliche of like the foundation of a house. When you're building a house, the foundation's typically a lot of the time is the most important piece. And when I think about our families and where we come from, I think that is the foundation, for better or for worse. I think it's always important when we're talking about your life story on the podcast that we get a little bit of background about your family dynamic. So with that being said, with whatever you're comfortable sharing, could you go into your family dynamic?
Sure. Well, I have 2 loving parents, very supportive, incredible parents. They do the utmost for me, and I'm very grateful for them. Very smart, very hardworking, very funny. So I'm grateful to have my parents in my life, and being okay with what I do and supporting me, and not just being okay, but supporting me all the way with what I do. And my sister as well. She's also very supportive. She's younger than me by a few years, so I still torment her, but you know, love my sister, love my parents. They're all incredible people, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about them. They work. My sister works, my mom works, my dad works. We all work, and so it's a working household, very busy. But when there's downtime, we always have a good time.
Yeah,
We
and
always have a good time.
honestly, I really like the fact that you mentioned like them being supportive in what you do, especially as a creative. Like, I think a lot of the times that we see on social media or people sharing stories, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or stuff like that, when they're sharing their experiences, maybe with telling their parent of wanting to be like a musician or something like that,
Mm,
that the parents kind of meet that with like a little bit of negativity,
yeah,
and it's not always like accepted and supported. And we always are kind of grown up with this like mindset of like chase your dreams, but a lot of our parents push back when we actually start chasing our dreams, because and I get why, like the fear of like seeing your child fail is
sure,
scary,
sure.
but hearing that your parents were supportive and are supportive of kind of what you're doing. I think that's a really great kind of piece to
Yeah.
like not just like skip over. And I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was like really great that you kind of like acknowledge that on the podcast. I think
Yeah.
because not everyone has that experience too. So I think
Right.
that's really valuable to kind of hear about that.
Sure.
Did they ever push back on it when you were doing it?
Not really push back, but there was some hesitation, of course, and even like with myself and everyone around me, it was like not not worried for me, but it's like my original plan was to be like a paleontologist and like study rocks and fossils and stuff. And so when I switched, it was, quite a drastic swap, but the people who knew me, they it made sense. It made sense. And I want to make sure that when I do, if I'm going for something, like I really got to make sure I, dot all my I's and cross my T's to make sure that I don't do a bad job, basically.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on there. Is like, kind of like a methodical like planning and
Yeah.
like approaching things. Like not just there's a part of it where it is spontaneous and random, but like not just doing things to just do things.
Yeah.
Sometimes like it's important to kind of have a balance of
Yeah.
both of those kind of traits. And I
Right.
actually talked about that last week, or my last episode with Amanda on my 2024 year in review
Mhm.
episode of like balancing between planning and being spontaneous and like trying to find the fine line of what's valuable and what's
Yeah. And it's
important.
very difficult. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of learning. It takes a lot of learning to plan out things and make sure what you have to do to get to a good point, to make sure you're giving it your all. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna do this and like let people down. There's no way I can let that happen. So I go for every opportunity. You're not gonna win the lottery off one scratch ticket, but you play a bunch of them. You might win eventually. Is what I'm getting at. Play your take your chances. Try. You're gonna fail a lot, but if you do it smart and careful, then you know people will start to see and believe in you, and that's kind of like you know what I'm trying to do. Make sure I'm playing it smart and wise. So
Yeah,
that
I think you're hitting on some good
yeah
things right
yeah
there with like having people believe in you. And like funny you bring up, I have take a chance tattooed on me
ah,
from my second episode with my late grandfather.
yeah.
He was on that episode and he was diagnosed with brain cancer at the time. He's since passed,
Very
but
sorry.
um, he was one of the first people to believe in this podcast.
Wow.
And on that episode, like I was telling you, kind of like how I wrap up with the question and stuff.
Yeah.
One of his like kind of iconic quotes from that episode was like, "If you're doing something you don't want to do or you want to change your career, is to take the chance." Like my dedication page in my book is take a chance.
Mhm.
Like none of this happens without me putting myself out there first.
Yeah.
Like I have to believe in it. Like this is the Carroll Connection. Like this is my podcast. Like
Right.
I have to believe in this before like you believe in this or anyone else. Like if I don't believe in it, like why would you even want to come on this?
Absolutely.
So it comes from that place of like full on belief, and then over time, like kind of what we're talking about here is people start to buy into what you're doing once they see that repetition that
Yeah.
you're actually like serious about this.
Right.
Like I bet as you start posting more and more about your art and stuff like that, people are like, yo, this is like dope. Cause
Yeah.
like they can see that you're trying, they can see you're putting in the effort. And when people can see that, it becomes more tangible to them. Like if I told you like a year or two ago when I was like gonna write a book, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write a book. You're like, all right, that's cool.
Mhm.
But like you don't see the book. So
Right.
like it's not tangible.
Right. Doing it's always better than saying you're gonna do it. Yeah.
And part of saying it too, and this is where the it's interesting on the podcast when I say certain things, like I'm kind of also like putting it out there in the public. This obviously is going to be like YouTube and stuff like that. So like I have to like hold myself accountable for stuff that I actually say. So if
Mhm.
like I used to call this like my secret project, and like I would just talk about my secret project in the podcast because I didn't want to like obviously give it away. But by talking about it, I had to be about it too. And like if you're just going to say you're going to do things, you actually do have to follow up with
Yeah.
that. And same thing with like if you're giving advice, whether it's relationship or career or life advice, you also should try to follow that advice too. Cause like
Right.
a lot of us will give advice sometimes and not always follow that. So it's like try
Yeah.
not to be a hypocrite at the same
Right,
time.
right, right. Yeah, I like the motto stack more, talk less.
Mm.
Just kind of do your thing, do your work, and that's it. You know what I mean? You don't worry about telling everyone about your ideas. I feel like that's how a lot of ideas die. People just tell them and tell everyone, and sometimes reserving it to yourself, kind of keep it in your brain. It'll fester, and it's got to come out somehow.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
100%. I'm definitely with you on that. A lot of the time is people just talk themselves out of their ideas
Oh
too.
yeah,
Like just like if I looked at doing podcasting, it was like looked at how much equipment cost or looked at how much cameras cost and all these different things. I might have never started. Like this is like my fourth or fifth iteration of a shirt.
mhm,
Like those shirts don't get created without the first podcast being recorded,
sure.
buying a laptop, buying two microphones, creating the name, getting on Apple, getting on Spotify. Like it's baby steps. Then I got one camera, then I got two cameras,
Mm,
then three, and then I upgraded to a soundboard, and I
that's a
got
nice one.
thank you, and huge shout out to Roadcaster. Like if you're doing podcasting, Roadcasters are simple, they're
Yeah,
easy, not cheap, but they're good,
yeah,
and they get the job done. But point being is all this stuff builds upon each other. Like you
mhm,
don't have Rome isn't created in one day, they always
sure,
say.
sure.
So it's like you don't have to just reach for the stars right away, but like kind of like scratching off those tickets every once in a while, just
Yeah,
keep doing it. It stacks up.
yeah.
So I think it's
Like your
really good.
boy Joe Rogan says, little layers of paint. Eventually, when you do all the little layers, it'll harden to like a mountain. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? Just layers of paint. You're not gonna see it at first. Like keep layering, layering, layering. Eventually, you'll be like, holy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Look what I
yeah.
created.
And I'm definitely excited to get into that stuff. But
Wait, can I say bad words on here?
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. You can
cool,
totally
cool.
curse. Bringing us back a little bit, building off the family dynamic. I'm interested to get into a little bit about like childhood and stuff like that
Okay.
because I'm obviously you mentioned jujitsu and you mentioned all the art, and I'm very curious to know if like any of this was influenced at an early age or if this kind of was a later in life thing.
Um, I think in my spirit it was influenced in an early age, the fighting. 100%. I didn't take any like martial arts. I was actually scared of doing martial arts when I was a kid. My dad brought me once to like it wasn't jujitsu but karate. I just remember red mats, kids screaming, "Aya! Aya! Aya!" It's like what the fuck? I was like freaked out, was not into it. But I have older cousins, all boys, and so they watched WWE. We always fought all the time. Not like we hated each other, but
Mhm.
just like we wrestled, I should say. We wrestled. And, always roughhouse with my buddies, with my friends who just have brawls in the lawn. I don't know, just boy shit that we did. So I always liked to fight. And the adrenaline that it gave me, it was so fun, like just wrestling around. And so I didn't like do anything like that when I got older. Of course, I just kind of like matured and didn't. Everyone was like more on computers. We played games on computers. We hung out. We just kind of chilled. Um, but when I was in high school, that's when I got more into jujitsu. So it kind of like I always liked roughhousing, like wrestling like that. Some guys don't like that. I understand. But it was very fun. Obviously, I got tortured, but it was pretty fun. As far as the painting goes and like art in general, I was drawing all my life. I remember I loved to like replicate images, draw, you know, characters from video games and like lots of characters from video games and animals and dinosaurs. I remember second grade like just drawing dinosaurs from a book I had. It was actually the Fossil Fighters manual. Shout out Perry. I know he's gonna listen to this because he likes Fossil Fighters. But you ever hear of Fossil Fighters?
No, I haven't.
All right, it's for the DS, and it's like Pokemon. You ever play
Okay. Yeah,
Pokemon?
yeah.
But you find the fossils. Like you go out in this field, find them, collect them. You have to excavate them, clean them. The DS has a mic, so you have to like blow to clean the
Yeah,
dust and
yeah.
stuff. It's awesome. But yeah, you like revive the dinosaurs. You make them fight. It's incredible. But I have the manual that has like all the guys in it. And so I would draw those, and my boy Perry loves that game. So yeah, that's what I drew. Plants vs Zombies, Kirby. I just draw 'em, all the different characters. I love just, and as I got older, I started to like try and make my own characters, doodle certain things, try and like study faces and other like parts of anatomy, light, shadow, perspective, those kind of things. Yeah, definitely drawing a lot as a kid, all the time. My dad was pretty good at drawing, and so I would like watch him draw stuff, that
So it
kind
was
of.
like an early age kind of thing.
Yeah, like every kid draws when they're little,
Mhm.
but it's just like some kids like keep going at it and get better and better,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I just kept loved to fill up a blank page, I hate to see a blank page, just want to fill it up with something, put creatures or something in it, you know.
Yeah, that's actually really dope
Menus,
though.
menus, menus stood no chance, dude. Menus with crayons. Oh my god, yeah. I was just scribbling on those. I don't care if I had designs on it. I was just flip the thing over, it's white on the back. Perfect. Yeah.
Dude, that's sick
Yeah.
though. It's like to also to build off that. Did you play any sports like outside of like that?
Um, I did all kinds of sports. I hope this medal isn't
No,
like,
you're good.
maybe I put the
Shirt over there.
shirt right here. I I'll put it right here. I think as I played soccer, basketball. I was horrible at basketball. I was ass, but I played, I think every kid should play a sport, when they're at that age, like when they're in school, builds camaraderie, you know, learn about teamwork, those sort of things, but I wasn't that good at 'em. I tried them all though. I tried soccer, didn't really like soccer. It's a ton of running, and I don't think I may scored once, maybe. Basketball, never really put up points. I was just, you know, I don't know. I didn't really find my thing until jujitsu. Like, I played hockey, floor hockey, because I didn't want to ice skate. It was too much money for all this shit. So, floor hockey would suffice. Tried that, wasn't that good. Um, what else did I do? You know, I think that's it. In high school, I didn't play any sports. It was mainly jujitsu. But like in middle, I stopped playing sports because I was doing theater. I did a
Oh,
lot of
really?
theater as well. Yeah, so I stopped like before high school, like a couple grades before that. I was in theater. Yeah.
Any reason? Just like wanted to try it, maybe, or
No, I just liked being on stage. My friends did it, and I like to act. I just liked it. Yeah,
that's dope. You
I
do a
was
bunch of different things.
yeah, I
No,
was Willy Wonka. I was like the lead roles and shit.
I could see that, to be honest.
Yeah,
Just like within like the first few minutes of us talking, just like the
yeah,
energy. I'm like, yeah, I
cool.
could see you being Willy Wonka easily. He probably killed
Yeah,
it, to be
Willy
honest.
Wonka, Ugly Duck. What else did I do? That was another one. Oh, I was Donkey. Yeah, and Shrek. We
He
did
did
Shrek.
Shrek.
Yeah, I was Donkey. Yeah, shout out everyone that did those shows. I love those.
That's pretty sweet,
Very
though.
fun. Very fun.
I'm glad that you brought up the at least trying sports as a kid. I think that was like a
Yeah.
great point, and like that's
Yeah.
part of the reason I asked that question is
Yeah.
because throughout doing this podcast, I always like to know if people did sports when they were
Yeah.
younger to see what kind of skills that they learned
Hmm.
and like the teamwork and like
Yeah.
those aspects are like super valuable to me and created a
Absolutely.
huge like baseline for
Yeah.
like how I like kind of interact with the world
Hmm.
basically. But I always find it interesting to see if people did sports or not. And usually you could tell certain people who've done sports and who haven't. And I think it's really great that you also mentioned the fact that like you might not have been like one of the better
I
players,
was
but like
ass.
you
I'm
still did
telling
it
you, I was
though.
horrible.
And
Yeah.
like that's like the cool thing is
Yeah.
like that you kind of stuck with it and
Yeah.
then obviously you found your way with other things.
Yeah, and when I did it, I didn't just do it. I wanted to win. I wanted to be better. I wasn't just like a Momo out there. I was like actually trying. I think like I hope everyone knows I was actually trying, but I was doing very bad. But I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun because you're playing with your buddies from school. You're facing your buddies from school. Like I love that shit. I play tennis.
Tennis, okay.
I play tennis. I wasn't that bad at tennis. I wasn't that bad. I played t-ball when I was little. But yeah, I remember tennis. That was in a little bit before high school. That was like after basketball. I stopped playing basketball. Yeah. And then when high school started, no sports. But started jujitsu early on in high school.
That's sweet. I wish one of the things my dad was like crazy good at wrestling. He
Hmm.
wrestled at East Providence when he was
Nice.
back in high school, but we didn't have that at Seekonk, and that's one of the things I feel like I would have been really good at because I'm a shorter dude,
Yeah.
and like I feel like I just would have been pretty good at that. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, I was pretty good at football and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played baseball.
My buddy of your build is kind of like he's good at wrestling. He
Wrestling.
does judo and stuff. It's just like a good I wrestle with guys, it's just like that kind of build. I don't know what it is. It's just good at wrestling, good at tackling the legs,
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah, like a few years ago, I think it was 2023 maybe. I pulled my hamstring playing flag football, and it still bothers me to this day. It's one of those things that probably just is what it is. Can't do nothing about
So
it.
do you squat or no?
I still squat, just not heavy anymore,
Yeah,
and
like
like
standing or like hack squat.
standing,
Yeah.
and I'll do like deadlifts and
Oh, nice.
a lot of those. I'm trying to build it up right now. Like over this next year, I'm gonna try to push the weight and see if I can get my strength back up to it. Because
Okay.
over time, it's gotten better. But
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
actually learned to appreciate when like I used to like be super into like sports, like football wise, and like fantasy football. I used to be into that
Yeah.
shit. I'm not really into it anymore, but I used to get mad when you see someone out with like a hamstring. I'm like, dude, just like get over it. And then like I pulled my hamstring. I'm like, I can see why they take so long with these
Yeah.
injuries because it's just like
It's a
the size,
big muscle.
huge muscle.
Yeah.
I went to PT 2 or 3 separate times trying to rehab it. It's just like it just doesn't want to get better, and it just like is what it is. But if
Are you
that never
doing the
happened,
creatine? That's good, right?
yeah,
You're taking
I do
that?
that. I do morning workouts, like I
Nice.
do meal prep, like I was talking a little bit about.
Very
I
nice.
just switched to I'm doing ground turkey and like black beans and
You eat ground beef?
no, I was doing more chicken than ground
Yeah.
beef. I usually do chicken because it's leaner and it's like a little bit
Nice.
less calories. So
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
try
yeah.
to like be in a calorie deficit if I
I see.
can. But I would literally eat chicken. Was I doing couscous? Yeah, I was doing chicken, couscous, and broccoli
Couscous is good.
for the
Very nice
last
stuff.
what was it? Since the last like year. And I'm good at like sticking to something,
Nice.
even if it's not like good,
Yeah.
like over time, like eating chicken every single
Oh,
day
I'm
is
the
just
same.
like
Dude, I've been eating eggs for every morning for, I don't know. I eat 6 eggs every day.
I think once you get in the routine, it's not like
Yeah.
bad.
And
If you
you
know
mix
it's
it
good for
up.
you too.
I put feta on that bitch. You know, that's pretty much it. Feta, make them goopy. You don't want to like overcook them. Like overcooked eggs are the worst, where they're like brown. I like them still squishy. Every morning, bro. Gas,
I'm
gas.
not. This is gonna be a hot take, but I'm not a breakfast person.
No.
No, I hate
Oh
breakfast.
man, breakfast is the number one for me. It's the excuse you can have. You can have dessert for breakfast. You can have the dessert first thing in the day. Waffles with maple syrup. Rock some bacon. Rock some eggs.
I'm a conspiracy on breakfast. I think it was created by like cereal brands and stuff to get people to eat like morning. I
They
don't.
did a great job
Yeah, they
because I
did. I
love
used
it.
to love fucking cereal and
They did
oatmeal
an
and shit, like the
excellent.
oatmeal with the dinosaur eggs in it as a kid. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
used to go crazy for that. That
yeah,
Eggos, the French toast sticks. Like
yeah,
as a kid, I loved breakfast. As I
yeah.
got older, like I just to
So
me
what time? What's the first time you eat? What's the first?
depends if I do a morning workout, I will eat breakfast, but it's only going to be a protein smoothie.
Oh,
But if I don't like wake up early to work out and I
yeah,
work out in the middle of the day, then I will eat after I finish. So maybe like could be anywhere from like after 12, like 12 to like 2 within that time frame.
nice.
But I only do that a few times,
Yeah,
like during the weekends and like sometimes during the week and stuff. But
very nice.
usually when I'm going to work, I would rather wake up and do a morning workout
Yeah,
because I just feel like my day's better. Like I'm just going into work in a better mood. Like I got the hardest part of my day over with,
right.
and when I get out of work, I don't have to do any of that stuff. I can
Yeah.
just like make food or relax or do whatever. Like
I
there's
wish I could
options.
do that. I do not. I can't get up in the morning.
Oh,
I
it sucks.
can't
It's the worst
do
thing.
that shit.
I set an alarm. Because I'm in the office like 3 days a week, but I'll set an alarm for 5:15 every
Oh,
morning and wake up
no shot.
on the treadmill by like 5:30 ish. do a half an hour
Damn,
there,
son.
lift for like 45 minutes to an hour, and then do
Nice.
another 30 minutes on the treadmill. Yeah.
Nice. So
Locked
you're
in.
on it, bro.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
winter
add.
arc type shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to add. So when I go into the office, when I get back from the office, hop on the treadmill for another 30 minutes is kind of what I'm trying to add in.
Nice,
And
dude.
as it gets nicer, and I'm gonna start trying to run. I was wicked into running. Like
Yeah.
I used to run like anywhere from like a mile to like 3 miles.
Wow.
Like after workouts, like
Wow.
as soon as my hamstring got shot, I was kind of like put that in the back burner.
Yeah.
But I'm itching to get back into it because I used to burn a shit ton of calories. I sweat like a
Yeah.
motherfucker. So it's like
Yeah.
that was like
Nice.
key for me after post workout, and I just always felt good. Like
Yeah.
runner's high to me is a real thing,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I definitely feels euphoric. You're not like, cause like if you're working out, like you can still be texting and all that stuff and on your
Sure.
phone, but like when I'm running, it's just like me, what's in front of me, and whatever's in my
Mhm.
headphones. Like there's nothing else to it, and
Nice.
like I don't have to worry about shit. It's like
Nice.
running was always kind of therapeutic to me. So
Yeah.
hoping to get back to it, but yeah, I'm very big on morning workouts. They suck.
Nice.
I hate it. I
Yeah.
don't like waking up, and like anyone that does is a psychopath.
Yeah.
But to me, it's one of the better times to work out. It's
Yeah.
just you're getting it over
I
with.
feel you.
So
I agree with you, but I'm just if I had black blinds, no light into my room, no alarm, I would sleep till 2 in the afternoon.
oh, that's my basement. I don't get any light in there. I sleep
Really?
lights out. Yeah,
Oh, no shot.
lights out.
No shot. I'd have to have the lights on, someone shoot me in the foot, sirens going, sprinklers going.
And this is
Like,
gonna blow your mind even more. I get hot very easily, so I have an AC and two fans blowing on me
yeah.
at night in the winter, and I'll still get up at 5:15 in the morning when it's cold.
You
Like
do ice bath?
if
Ice bath?
I don't have that,
Yeah.
but I would if I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I got one for Christmas last year. I was ripping it a lot. And last winter, I haven't whipped it out yet. I've been a little, I've been a little chicken. But I've been enjoying my hot showers
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. But,
I used to do cold showers.
yeah, same. But I don't know. I don't got time for that
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
anymore.
I get
Like,
that. I get
I
that.
enjoy my hot showers. Like, I train a lot. I teach a lot. So I'm trying to just enjoy my life a little bit more.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
there's, and I always say this about like exercise. Like you should do it. It's like always like big on just doing something. Like
Yeah.
if you're just starting out in fitness, like just go for a walk. Like get the
Yeah,
steps.
I think you
like
should do something that's ass every day.
mm,
You know, like something that's just like ass. You know, you don't want to do it. You know, it's good for you, but it sucks. I think like something that you don't want to do, it's like kind of nice, makes everything else feel better. You know, like when I did do the baths, I just like hop in. I'm just, that was, nothing's gonna get worse than that unless like someone, does something crazy, but that is pretty ass. Tubs are pretty ass. Ice showers pretty ass. Um, workouts. Of course I love working out, but they're kind of ass.
yeah,
You gotta go there, take time out of your day. You gotta do it. You gotta eat food. Training, doing something that's a little you don't like to.
yeah. I'm huge on that too. And this last like, so I'd probably say it's from like summer onwards. Like I was locked in last winter,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've been able to maintain kind of where I am with the routine that I have, and I've appreciated that because I've been able to live in. I'm very big on balance, so I was
Mm-hmm.
living in balance. Like I love Taco Bell. I am huge on Taco Bell,
Yeah,
and
we
I still
haven't
want to
ripped Taco Bell in a while.
like. I gotta like. I don't have it all the time, but like
Yeah,
a lot of
I
the
do like Taco.
the locked in meal prepping and working out on the weekends, I go to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
in
we ripped Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, I love that. Big Raisin Cane's guy now. Like
Oh, you have
yeah,
one over here?
yeah, over here in Seekonk.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to hear that.
fire.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that place.
Yeah,
Love that
it's
place.
simple but super effective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it gets the point across.
and it's like
Good fat ass chicken.
yeah, the sauce. Yeah, yeah, we're locked in.
So good.
But it's like part of the whole balancing the workout stuff. If I didn't work out, I'd be fucking massive,
Yeah,
dude. So it's like it's shit. I don't always want to work out. I hate waking up in the morning,
Yeah.
but like you said, it is good for you to do something that's shitty. Like
a little scary.
yeah,
Maybe.
and like hopefully I'm gonna try to build up the weight, and I'm going to Portugal in the summer. So like I'm trying
where mainland or the island?
islands. Yeah, go with my family and
In
my
the
girl and
summer?
stuff. Yeah.
We're going in. Is it end of August? We're gonna be there end of August. The islands. So you're
Yeah.
Portuguese?
Yeah.
You speak Portuguese?
I don't, unfortunately. I'm mostly Portuguese and a little bit of Irish, but I
Yeah.
honestly identify more with the Irish, to be
I
honest.
see. I see. You do look Irish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I see. I
My
see.
brother looks way more Portuguese.
Yeah.
He's like darker and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
I
think I
didn't get
saw him
that.
outside. What do they? Are they here?
Some of my cousins and stuff, like
Okay.
yeah. So like
Nice.
I got more of the Irish gene. Like in the summer, my beard gets wicked ginger and stuff like that. Like
That's
it's
funny.
yeah, it's weird. It's just weird how genetics work,
Yeah.
and I didn't get that Portuguese looking slice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna lock in for the summer. Try
Nice.
to look a little bit better going into
Nice.
Portugal. It's kind of the goal, at
Nice.
least.
Where are you
Um,
gonna be in the on the Azores?
I think it's Sao
San
Miguel.
Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The big island. Yeah.
yeah. So we should be over there, and we got a big ass Airbnb. We got
Damn.
my cousin, my uncle and aunt, my
Nice.
parents, me, my brother, my girlfriend, and then they got some of their family friends and
Yeah.
stuff. So we have like it's like a 10-bedroom house or something like that. It's like
You have
massive.
your grandparents speak Portuguese or your mother speaks Portuguese?
My mom speaks a little bit,
Yeah.
but more of her parents. They're past now, but they used to speak more of it.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
Trying to steer us back a little bit into
Sure,
this, got a little
sure.
off track.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's fine, but I'm interested to as we're building the whole like family dynamic, childhood, getting into like obviously talked about high school. A lot of this stuff
Yeah.
was going on. Walk me through like getting towards like getting into jujitsu in high school, what that was like, and starting to take your art maybe a little bit more seriously as you're going through
Okay.
school.
Well, I'll spare you like the long story. I said it on the other podcast. Would you like me to repeat the whole me getting into jujitsu?
You can
Like,
short it down if you
sure,
need
yeah,
to,
yeah. Because it's a bit long, and we can like focus more on other
because I
things.
definitely want to get towards that art
Of
stuff and make
course.
have that be like the we're getting towards like that second half where
Sure,
we'll lean
sure.
into that. So, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested in the
Okay, yeah.
jujitsu stuff.
Well, basically, my dad had been doing it for about a year, and so it's kind of been in my like sphere of like stuff. He's talked to me about it, tried to show me some things here and there. But yeah, when I was in school one time, I saw a fight at school, and it was this big kid, and he hit this other kid. I knew both of them, and the smaller kid kind of fell right in front of me, and I was just like, I had never seen anything like that. Like, no act of violence like that close to me. Like this, I thought this kid was gonna be knocked out for a long time. You know what I mean? He really was not looking good, and I just remember going home that day and being like, "Dad, I'm gonna join. Like, there's no way I'm gonna like live this life not not knowing how to fight or like hold my ground or defend myself." And so ever since I had joined the next day, I never quit. I stayed with it. I teach as well. I teach kids, I teach adults. Um and yeah, I train all the time. And in high school, training was pretty cool. I didn't really tell anyone just cuz like I don't know, I told my closest friends that I was doing jujitsu, and I would show them stuff here and there, but I was just not that good. I was very small. Everyone in my jujitsu class was a lot bigger than me, and definitely a little scary at first, but I knew that eventually I would like get nice at it. I don't know. There's something about jujitsu that like I don't know, the nerdy people get kind of good at it. You know what I mean? I'm not like saying I'm super duper nerdy, but in high school I was 100%. Playing video games all the time, Overwatch, Counter Strike, playing mad games, and not really doing anything. And so jujitsu kind of gave me that kind of fitness aspect, confidence, learning how to fight. I kept training until my coach reached out to me. My coach reached out to me, was like, "Hey, do you want to help run the kids program? Like you can teach and stuff. You'll get money for it." I was like, "Sure. Yeah." I was working at maybe it was a grocery store or something. Yeah, I think it was a grocery store. Um and I didn't really like it that much cuz I was cleaning toilets and emptying out, disgusting soda can bins, the ones where you like put them in the slot, they give you money.
Mhm.
the things are disgusting. The bottom of them, it's like this black sludge. It's like gray
Mm.
sometimes. It like turns so dark it like reverts back to gray. It's disgusting. And I had to clean those shits, and the jujitsu was nice. It kind of like helped me get a bit more money, and my grocery store job was cool about me teaching, which was great. So once I started helping the kids, I mean, you run basic techniques with them. We teach them basic, like white belt techniques disguised as games and things. So, I do them all the time, all the time. I'm starting to get these moves ingrained in my brain, plus training. Um, I just kept teaching and training all those years through high school, through college. I would like make sure my college schedule was around me leaving for jujitsu. Excuse me. And I had to walk to the parking lot, drive, 45 minutes to an hour to teach and train, and then come back, walk back to my dorm, just keep keep at it. And I need jujitsu. Like, uh, I know there'll be a day maybe where I stop teaching, um, maybe a period where I stop training, but I will have that shit in my mind forever. It's like so ingrained, you know what I'm saying? Um, but that's pretty much kind of where I'm at now and how it developed through high school. It was just training. I didn't lift much. I did some lifting in high school, like stuff in my bedroom, like after training at the end of the night, mad sit-ups on my bed, mad push-ups, mad planks, mad curls, dumbbell shit, just trying to bulk up, eating more. Um, you know, that was that period. Learning about jujitsu. I think I became a blue belt was I think I was still in high school. I think I was a senior in high school. I became a blue belt. Yeah, and then purple belt when I was in college, brown belt now that I'm graduated. So that's kind of been the period of my belts as well.
Would you say jujitsu has kind of been like an outlet for you, like to kind of take things
Um,
out?
yes and no. I- I don't go there and I'm like a sick fuck like, oh, I get to choke people out and stuff. It's definitely awesome to wrestle. It like scratches that itch for me of like roughhousing with your friends and getting thrown around and getting your adrenaline up and you know, at times being close to not, I don't want to say death, but death, like getting choked out, you know what I mean? How often do you get to the point where you're like almost about to pass out because you have someone's arms around your neck getting like choking you? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't happen to a lot of people, and it shows on some people. You know what I'm saying? It shows you never been choked. So, um, I encourage everyone to try out jujitsu. If you're able-bodied to do so, I think it is awesome. Kickboxing is awesome. No gi, jujitsu is awesome. Muay Thai is awesome. It's it's awesome to just wrestle around, get some grips, get some throws, get some you know it's very fun. Very, very fun. Scary as well.
Yeah,
So,
I think
scary as in, like, oh man, I know there's going to be some black belts in class.
mm,
I'm going to have to go with them. But it's good. Black belts, they're scary, but they're good. They're good. I'm not saying they're going to, like, rip your arm off. They're the last person to rip your arm off. They're the most technical, the most careful, the most observant, the most controlling of their energy and their strength. Those are the people that are the safest. They're also going to be the most challenging, which is like why I'm scared of them because it's like not scared, but I'm like, damn, let's go. Like, here we go. I don't know if he'll listen to this one, but my buddy Eric, he um comes to class once in a while, and I get to train with him. And he's a good grapple. He's a strong bastard, and he's just an excellent jujitsu player, just excellent. And you get a little nervous before you go. Does this thing have a pocket? Get a little nervous, before you go with him, obviously. But it's the good kind. It's good. It's like the kind you get before you go on a roller coaster, like a good ride that you're like, this one's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think more people should be introduced to this. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of wish, like, almost like in school, like in a gym class setting, if like they would introduce this. Obviously,
Yeah.
I could see the hesitation maybe in like public schools or stuff like
Yeah,
that,
we'll
where
be like, all right, boys, like we have someone coming in special today, or next week. Bring your, you know, if you got spandex pants, shorts, bring your basketball shorts. Bring some, tight underwear, a cup if you want. Bring a tight shirt, whatever. Kids got that nowadays. Nike Under Armour shit. Just bring that, some shorts, and we'll do some like wrestling in class. You know, don't have to be just jujitsu, just some wrestling. Some takedowns, some holds or something. Some positional stuff. Yeah, I don't see why not.
I think it'd be good. Like, I mean, for me, like I think I would be a totally different person if I didn't play football most of my life. Being
Yeah,
able to just like hit people and like me, I'm a smaller person, knowing that like I'm gonna go against people that are bigger than me,
yeah,
obviously. So like part of the reason I started working out in like eighth grade.
yeah.
Like I started doing morning workouts in eighth grade. Like
Nice.
me and my friends, my dad would bring me to my friend's house. Their dad was like a power lifter back in the day. It'd be like
Oh
a
shit.
group of us and we'd be in a basement like
Flipping
powerlifting on
deadlifts and
weekends. And
shit.
yeah, we had
Nice.
charts, we had weights, and like we
Wow.
everything was like
Cool, cool,
detailed.
cool.
But like I was introduced at a young age because I knew that I had to be stronger as a smaller guy to take on a lot of the
Yeah,
bigger hits. I played running back, I played linebacker, I
sure,
played
sure.
receiver. Like I I, I was pretty good. Like I don't want to like toot my own horn from
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, but like I was not afraid to hit people.
Yeah,
And like being able to experience like a contact sport,
yeah.
like
Getting
definitely
physical.
prepared me better for life. Like I know that I like obviously it's not the same as like boxing or like jujitsu. Like you're not getting hit in the face
Right.
sometimes, but like I know what it's like to go head to head and like bang my head and
Yeah,
like get dinged up and
that's
shit
what I'm
like that.
saying. That's incredible. Like every sounds strange, but every creature fights. You know, monkeys, chimpanzees. Those are the ones that are like more closely related to us genetically. But look at any animal in the animal kingdom. Insects, beetles. Everything fights. Rabbits fight. And it's kind of like that's been ripped because we have society now, we have rules, we have morality things. I'm not saying, oh, just because we have these rules, like we can still you know tap into that kind of energy in humans, just in a more controlled way, more technical way, a lot more fun way, more creative way, through different types of martial arts. Not even just jujitsu, all kinds.
And you never know when you might need it in a random scenario where it could save
Absolutely.
your life.
Because there are times where humans do fight. You know what I'm saying? Like policemen, if you're on a train and someone starts acting up, and you know what I mean? Like there's gonna be times where you will need it. Um, you know,
Just
it's
never know. It's one of
exactly,
those.
exactly.
So
All creatures fight. We cannot forget that. All creatures fight. And one will always win.
yeah, and it's important to remember that this is always that slight chance that
Yeah.
something could happen.
Yeah.
Building off this, we're getting towards like that back half where
Sure.
I really want to get into the art stuff. I'm
Okay,
really
cool.
excited about this. So like I'm kind of thinking like post high school, like
Yeah.
take me through your path because obviously you're talking about going to earlier in the podcast talking about all these different career options that you were looking at. Like, did you go to college? Did you not go to college? And then what kind of path did you follow to get to where you are now with the art?
Okay. I knew I was going to go to college. And my senior year was spent through Zoom and online. So it was kind of like whatever. And so was my freshman year of college. I enrolled at Bridgewater State University, under like a anthropology archaeology minor, or major, I should say. And so that was going to be my field. I was going to be an archaeologist. I was going to study, I was studying artifacts, chimpanzees. I was really into chimpanzees, early humans, Egyptian artifacts, art history artifacts. I kind of took some art history classes. And the more I learned about archaeology and the process of digging up fossils and things of that sort, I kind of was like, I don't know, maybe this isn't like, what I thought it was, because it's not like, I didn't think it was Indiana Jones, but I thought the approach nowadays to archaeology is a bit strange, I feel. I think a lot of the archaeologists kind of lean a certain way politically, and it kind of gets into things and gets into the papers that get written. And so, you know, that falls into certain regulations that get placed, especially on certain countries where, like, digging and excavating and more exploration should be involved in. But I don't really want to go into that much. Let's just say the archaeology department rubbed me
No, I
just
agree.
a
Just some
little
of the stuff I
bit.
know. I agree with everything
Yeah,
with where you
and
could have went with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a bit not what I liked. And there was not really a lot of focus on digging up the artifacts. It kind of seemed a bit content how things were and not questioning. I always thought archaeologists kind of question things, and scientists question things. I feel like people aren't kind of questioning shit and testing shit out anymore. It's a bit strange, but yeah, so I switched. I was on the side doing a lot of art, doing a lot of drawing. I was researching artists on my own just through YouTube. I mean, I had all this time on my hands, and because I was super into music, I was producing a lot. I actually produced like quite a few beats during that time, making beats for artists and stuff like that. Learning FL Studio, the program. Those are like the formative years of me learning Fruity Loops. Um, and so, in learning about music and watching people make music, I come across artists like, Murakami, very popular, made the Kanye West teddy bear. Everyone knows him. Recently did the thing with Zendaya. So, George Kondo, another artist that did a Kanye West album cover, incredible artist. You learn about these guys, and it's like they are very cool works of art on their own. But how did they get to this point? What are they doing? And so, I just out of sheer curiosity, I learn about them, and then it's just a rabbit hole of me learning about all these artists, getting books, learning about them, watching lectures and videos, and more learning about art history and less about technique. you know like, I wanted to know what led them to that point of making that. I don't know if you're familiar with Piet Mondrian.
No.
Well, maybe you're familiar with the composition painting that he made, where it's just like white with a couple black and vertical and horizontal lines, couple of the boxes filled with red, yellow, blue, like primary colors. Very, very simple painting, but something like that developed over time, over the years, from a simple drawing of a tree. And you kind of watch his, like, work change over time. It's very, very strange. And so the more you learn about the artists like this, the more you want to, like, try it out and experiment these ideas that come to your mind once you learn about them. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let me try this out. And so it was all about experimenting and trying. Did a lot of drawings in my bed at night, on my desk while watching videos and stuff, just drawing, drawing. Then I began painting. Um, I painted on canvas that I just bought from Michael's, cheap, shitty paints, tempera paints and stuff like that, acrylics, just making paintings, putting ideas down. And they weren't really good, and I still don't think they're that good. But I had enough, started an Instagram page just to document everything. I think, if you're going to make something like that and you love it, I think you should document it and release it. It's no good just sitting in your folder or wherever you're keeping it. Show someone. I'm sure someone will like it. Maybe someone will want to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But painting, more painting, um, and then I kind of flipped. I was like, when COVID happened, I was like, the world. I was shocked at how quickly the world could change with something that was so. Well, now we know it wasn't as bad as we thought, and it was kind of, a lot of things were done quite poorly. A lot of things were done well, but I was just kind of blown away at everything. And there were the riots at the time as well. I was just very shaken up with how the world was. I think a lot of people were. It was like very strange, very strange. Not being able to graduate, not being able to start living in the dorm first year, dorms being weird, coming back from being online, just very, very strange. And like low key some Matrix shit. Like I did not like it. And so I was like, all right, well, if it's gonna be like this, then I want to make sure I'm doing something that I like can do, and I can like do it with love and power and like wisdom, with things that I've learned, and give it my best shot. And yeah, that's why I switched. It was crazy times, crazy times. But without it, who knows? I would have never swapped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned like the social media aspect of
Yeah.
like if you're gonna do it, why not just share it
Yeah.
too? Like show somebody.
Yeah.
Because that is always like the biggest hurdle I feel like for a lot of people,
Yeah.
like at least when it comes to social media
Yeah.
and like documenting stuff that they're creating and things of that nature.
Yeah. Me as well. I struggle with it too. Yeah.
And when I think back when I first started, like I was absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're talking, I launched this in 2019. Like, obviously, podcasting was the thing and like things of that nature. I feel like podcasting really took a crazy leap like during the COVID years.
For sure.
But,
Everyone had all that time.
and like I did it right before. And I always say, if I didn't start then, I don't know if I ever would have started.
Yeah.
And looking back on that, it was just so interesting to look at what this could be. Like I had no idea what we're doing right now is how it would be. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't have pictured this in like
Yeah.
a
But
hundred
you
years.
kind of have an idea,
Yeah, there was
right?
a vision. Like
Yeah.
there was a vision, and
Yeah. You kind of have an idea.
it slowly kind of builds though. Too
Yeah.
off that, it's like,
Yeah.
did I think I would have the three cameras and like have all this stuff?
Mm.
Kind of, yeah, but like I didn't know how it was gonna come about. Like
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna write this book. I just didn't know when or how or
Sure.
why. Like I just knew like it was probably I went to one of these like shaman spiritual healers
Mm-hmm.
and take it like I always take a grain of salt, like the tarot
Sure.
card stuff. I'm more spiritual than religious.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with a lot of religious things. But I remember going to this shaman and she was like kind of walking me through of like what she kind of sees and sees she was like, I see you on stage, I see you writing books and all this stuff and like
Wow.
stuff that like I've thought about for myself,
Mm-hmm.
but like the book thing really resonated with me. And she said I'd write multiple books, but like it's one of those like I thought about it, and the more I thought about it, the more anxious I got about it. Cause I'm like, damn, do I actually like have to do this? And it wasn't until years later where I started meditating of like, what do I do next? What do I do next?
Mm-hmm.
And like jotting down things in my journal. And then out of nowhere, it just like came back up. And
Yeah.
I was like, I just knew what to write. Like I started writing down ideas. I'm like, this is perfect. This is
Sure.
exactly what I'm
Sure.
supposed to be doing. And documenting that, sharing that on social media. Like if I didn't start doing a podcast, I don't write this book. Like this podcast gave me the platform to even launch a book,
Right.
to even like get people to see it, to get people to buy it. Like
Yeah.
the amount of support that I got for this book stems from the fact that like I interviewed a lot of people and networked on this podcast
Yeah.
and launched that. And it stems back to the point that you were making about sharing it. Just sharing your stuff out there. You never know who's going to be interested, who might want to buy the thing that you're creating.
Yeah.
It just takes that first step of being willing to share it to the world
Yeah.
because you might inspire someone just by doing your art.
Right. Right. I say worry less about if someone's willing to buy it. Just put it in people's faces. The more faces that your stuff hits, the more ears that your stuff hits, the better it will be for you. I think I want to see what people are making. So try and get it into my face, I'd say. You know what I'm saying? If it's good, I want to see it. Like I like good stuff. Good movies, good music, and of course I like some stinkers just cuz everyone has their own taste. But I love new music, new movies, new shows. We were just talking about shows, suggesting some shows. If you say it's good, then give it a try.
Yeah, and I think it comes with, and this is part of the cool thing. And I'll ask you like after the podcast when we're wrapping all that stuff. But every time I do a podcast, I always ask people to send me a couple songs because I'll share it to my story when I post the podcast
Sure.
to like include your flair to it almost.
Yeah.
And the amount of songs that I've gotten from people just by doing that is crazy because it's like a lot of this stuff that I've learned and gained over the years just by asking someone.
Yeah.
Like how many times in your life do you actually get to sit across from someone? You don't obviously have to be sitting legit across from someone. Like you could be driving next to someone or like have like an hour just to actually chat with people.
Yeah.
Like there's probably a few people in your life that you actually get to do that with. So being able to create this space to like pick your brain for a little bit and see where you're coming from. Cause like I see you on social media, I see your art, I saw you
Yeah.
on the podcast. I was like, looks like an interesting dude. I want to talk to this guy
Yeah.
and get you on the podcast. And we're connecting over different things,
Yeah.
sharing ideas, talking about opinions and stories. And it all comes from curiosity and because you took a chance to post it.
Yeah.
And I took a chance to post my stuff and we were able to link and connect over that.
Yeah.
It's like it's all about taking that chance and taking the risk when it comes to creativity, like taking like new opportunities, like trying new things.
Yeah.
Like you might not like it, might be hard, you might fail, but you're better off trying than never trying at all.
Right.
And if you listen to like my early podcast, I sound like a dumbass. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Like
it's all right if it's not the best at first,
yeah, it's you learn and you grow. Like the way I
Yeah.
podcast now is leaps and bounds better than it was back then.
Yeah.
And it took repetition. It took doing this. I used to do podcasts like anywhere from like 30 to like 40 times a year.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost every week doing podcasts,
Yeah.
like if I can. And you don't get good without repetition. And I can imagine the same thing with your art. The
Yeah.
more that you do it, the better you get at, the more
Yeah.
that you want to change your style and try new things.
Yeah.
It's you got to keep doing it.
Right.
And that's the important part
Right.
about this stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
we are getting towards the end, so I want to start bringing us home with some of this stuff.
Sure.
Is there anything that you wanted to hit on, or any talking points that you want to hit on before we start wrapping up? Because I have that last question for you.
Sure.
But
Sure.
in case we got lost in conversation, I always like to give the opportunity to the guest to
Yeah.
say anything in case we missed it.
Like about my life or
Yeah, if there's something that you feel like you wanted to say on the podcast,
Yeah.
I'm giving you the chance now before
Okay.
we start wrapping up.
Um.
It doesn't have to be. I just
Yeah.
like just in case, you know.
Yeah. All right. Eat your eggs every day. Eat some eggs. All right. Drink your milk. It's good for you. All right. Stay healthy. Lift weights. Go for walks. Take a swim if you're in a nice area. You need to move your body. You need to put good stuff in your system. If you're eating garbage, you're going to produce garbage no matter what you do, no matter what sport you play, what work you do, what artwork you create, whatever. Even some things that you say, how you treat other people. If you put bad things in, it will come out. Trust. Eat some good food, eat some red meat, eat some steaks, eat some vegetables, some fruit, and you'll be good. Trust.
Hell yeah, I'm very big on the positives like talk.
Yeah.
Like even if like it's internal, you're speaking negative to yourself, you're gonna attract that every single time.
Yeah.
Like people literally make their lives harder. And I was one of these people. I used to be like joking, like, oh, I wish I could kill myself. I hate my life.
Yeah.
Like I was one of those people. Sometimes I still joke about it and do that.
Yeah.
But like I try to do that way less because there are so many negative impacts from that you
Yeah.
don't see on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But it's there's energy around. Like you're affecting yourself by
Yeah.
talking negative like that. And I
Yeah.
totally agree with that point. Disagree with the breakfast part, but
That's
I'm
alright.
kidding. I do like
That's
there's certain
alright.
breakfast that I like.
Yeah.
My girlfriend gets
No
on me.
cereal.
Yeah, definitely no cereal. No
Unless
fuck
that
with
shit
cereal.
gets changed with
Yeah.
the Red 40 shit.
We got was it Red 3 they're
Red
taking out?
3W.
One W. There's
Yeah.
hopefully more. It's crazy. We're not gonna go down that rabbit hole in the
Sure.
podcast, but there's so many things wrong with the food system and like the
Oh,
way
yeah.
that things are currently. Like I'm definitely with you on the eat the red meat. Like I'm big on
Yeah.
chicken and stuff like that. Don't agree on the milk necessarily.
That's all right. I love
um,
milk.
I like milk too.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's I think there's something weird about milk.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just don't know if we were supposed to be
Yeah.
drinking milk, you know?
That's all right.
Yeah, it's one of
I
those
like
like
it.
I'm a
So,
big almond milk guy. And you probably shouldn't
oh,
be drinking
really?
that either, but
Yeah.
I use that in my milkshakes or
Yeah.
my smoothies and stuff.
Nice.
Totally getting off point.
That's all right.
Bringing us home, I do have that last question for
Yeah.
you. What would your advice be for someone who wants to pursue their passion?
Make sure you learn about everything, almost everything, that you need to do before you take your shot. Okay? Cover all your bases. Learn, learn, learn before you make a big jump. What I'm saying is measure twice and cut once. Okay? If you want to really pursue whatever you do, you need to learn about it so you don't make the mistakes that other people made. Okay? You want to avoid those mistakes early so you can succeed early on and not fail. Of course, you'll have your own mistakes, but you'll persist, you'll learn from them, and hopefully you can continue to make good stuff, whatever you're doing. But I really encourage people to learn, whether it's on your own or going to school. I'm not against school, right? I think schools are great, a bit on the expensive side, but if you can afford it and you work hard for scholarships or whatever system you can do to get some form of education, I recommend it because you'll learn a lot about whatever subject you're into. It's not even just like art, but and if there's no school for it, then there's no school for it. But you're gonna have to learn some way, whether it's YouTube or books or lectures online, websites. You need to like learn your shit, like you really do. You know, like it's all about the mistakes. You can you can skip a lot of the BS mistakes early on if you just learn from other people. You know.
Yeah, I think that's great advice for people, and you will save yourself a lot of time and a lot of headaches by just doing a little
Yeah,
bit of research. Like
absolutely.
the amount of things that I learned by just googling a few
Yeah,
things online and doing a little bit of YouTubing, whether it's the book or the
yeah,
podcast, crazy amount of
yeah.
time saved. But Mason, appreciate you coming on the podcast. I really fuck with your energy and the way
Thank
that
you.
you do your art, and I'm really excited to see where you go from here.
Thank you,
And
my
I
friend.
definitely hope to stay connected and see where you go with
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
If you can look into this camera and just
Yeah,
plug all your stuff where people can find you.
sure thing. MasonandTerra.com. Shout out. MasonandTerra.com. I don't know if you can read it. I got a lot of artwork on there. I'm gonna have prints on there soon. Some merch coming soon. Just waiting on a few things, and I'm gonna be pumping out some nice stuff soon. Got some paintings in the works. Mason and Terra on Instagram. I have no X. Yeah, my website. I make music as well. Mason Terra on everything. I only have a couple songs, but that's pretty much it. Can I shout out some people?
Yeah,
Some of my friends.
do it all.
All right, shout out Spasmal. Shout out Jeff. Shout out Spencer. Shout out Chris HOV. And Jake. Shout out my buddy Sam and Bryce and Gerald, and shout out my beautiful girlfriend McKay, and my mom and dad and my sister, all my family, incredible people. Shout everyone out, and shout out Co-Creative for the studio. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. All
Perfect.
my favorite people. No, not my favorite. Obviously, I have a lot of favorite people, but trying to
Yeah,
think. Danny Savory, BJJ, shout out. Number one gym. No, yeah, no, that's it.
sure.
Nah, I definitely forgot people. They're
It's
gonna
a-
text me after this, but
yeah, you just
I love
created
everyone.
created
I love
yourself a
the
problem.
world. Okay, love everyone. Shout out everyone. You guys are the best. Keep fighting the fight out there. You bad bitches.
Appreciate you, Mason, for that. For you guys, if you guys like the podcast, please rate, review, share with your friends, share with your family, share with your grandma. Check it out, thecarolconnection.simplecast.com. Also, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and all the major listening platforms. If you want to be a guest or return as a guest, hit me up on Instagram at JaredMCow or at the Carroll Connection. We'll set that up. And I don't know if I mentioned the YouTube. Go check that out, as well as the 5 Pillars of Creating a Meaningful Life. Get that on Amazon. And if you read it, review it, submit that on Amazon. Helps me with the algorithm. Supports goes a long way. And yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.
Shout out, guys. See ya. All right, ready? All right, and shout out McChristian for the hat. Mikhail Kudo, the GOAT. Shout out. Coming soon. All right, coming soon. Follow him, McChristian. He's next up. Just you wait.
There we go. Last act.